want to talk a little bit about what you should prioritize in your financial planning. This is coming up for me as a financial planner because the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that was passed in 2017 is up for renewal at the end of this year. And it's not that I don't expect large portions of that to be continued, just given the nature of who's been elected and the composition of Congress and the office of the president. But it does start to bring up issues around estate planning, wealth transfer, charitable giving. All of those things come back into the mix again as a result. Right now, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act has the estate tax exemption up to about $40 million per person. At the end of 2025, for the purposes of 2026, that number goes down to about $7 million per person. Still relatively high, given just where most people fall in America on the bell curve of wealth, but way lower than where it is now. The other thing that's coming up in my office is that the stock market has done very well for the last couple of years, and we're starting to see highs in people's portfolios, which is giving them both a sense of what I would call security. Okay, my money is growing and it's doing what I need it to do, but it's also giving them a sense of fear and anxiety. Oh my God, what if it goes down 30%? If you live through the years 2000 to 2002, and then again 2007 to 2009, you saw those kinds of drops, in fact, bigger drops than that. So it has important implications for planning. So how do you prioritize what's important when you're sitting down with your financial planner? First of all, your own well-being, I think, needs to come first. Make sure that you're going to be okay. You've got enough money for long-term care. You've got enough money to protect yourself if the world goes a little bit crazy. You might argue that it already has, but you get what I mean. Those are the things that I prioritize first. The thing that I would have you then look at second is if you have built up wealth, and most of my clients have, what do you want to have happen to that wealth when you pass, or the second of you passes if you are partnered? And I think that's an important question around parenting. What do you want to do for your kids? And again, that can be about just passing down wealth, or it's also really about passing down skills to manage them. So what do you want to do about that? Are there other people in your life who you would like to support financially? In that's also an important piece of this. And do you have people in your life with special needs that you might need to create a special needs trust for? So that's another thing that I would make sure that you're paying attention to. After you've looked at that, then I would have you look at, okay, is there a legacy you want to leave in the world, whether that is giving money to charity or providing education or housing for your grandkids or future generations. There is a conversation to be had for yourself about, okay, what do I want my legacy to be? When I'm dead and gone from this planet, how do I want to be remembered? Do I want to be remembered? And what do I want to be remembered for? I'll give you a couple of examples. This particular advisor had a client who loved to collect things. And just for privacy reasons, I'll say it was art things very generally. And really, the collection in and of itself and the amount of money she used to acquire these things was not big. But the collection actually was very interesting to a particular museum in another state. And they ended up giving that collection to that museum, and they put up a plaque with that person's name on it. And it was her legacy that was left behind because she had just loved collecting these particular types of art things. And so I think, it's not just about, okay, how do I give money to my kids, or how do I support my grandkids, or how do I give money to this particular charity that I love? But what is it about me that perhaps I do want somebody else to enjoy once I'm gone? And those things are worth considering. That's how I would prioritize your financial planning. Number one, make sure that your needs are met first. Nobody really wants to have to be dependent on other people, including the state in which they live. Then take a look at, what impact do you want to have on the people in your lives? And then what impact do you want to have on the world, or how you leave it when you go? If you would like to have these conversations, I'd be happy to do that with you. I'm Jessica Lanning. Lanning Does Planning.